Remake! I got a sudden urge to talk about horror movie remakes. If you recall, in the early to mid 2000s, remakes were the cat's meow, particularly in the horror genre. It caused a lot of debate. Are horror remakes necessary? Are they ruining horror? Are they helping horror? Are they helping bring attention some great films to the young audience? Well, I'm sure a lot of you thought that horror fans were being sensitive when they objected to horror movie remakes. But consider this. Horror movie fans love these movies. They feel very much for these films. It's like if you saw your parents getting remarried. That's what a remake is like. And what added insult to injury was that if your parents got remarried and your friend said, you know what, I prefer your parents with their new spouses. Now, it was obvious that horror movie remakes could have been done really well. We saw it with The Thing. We saw it with The Fly. We saw it with several horror movie remakes. And it was also seen even in the early days that horror movie remakes could have been redundant or unnecessary. But here was my thing. When the horror movie remakes started becoming a giant thing, I thought, yeah, there's a lot of movies in the past that probably could use a makeover. Think about the Herschel Gordon Lewis films, Mario Bava. These are fantastic movies that today's audience wouldn't appreciate simply because the lack of budget, the lack of resources, and they just blend in with that time period that doesn't mix well with what we have today. So, you know, it makes sense. There's plenty of really low-budget horror films throughout the decades that, if they were remade and done well, you could bring something new to the story. You could bring something new to the style. And you could, as I said before, make the young crowd aware of these films. Well, the films that were being remade were movies that didn't need to be remade. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. And more so, these were films that when they came out, they were unique. They were ahead of the time. And when they were being remade, particularly the remakes produced by Michael Bay, they just blended into conformity. They blended with one another. All the remakes looked blue. Why did they all look blue? I didn't need the films that I love to look more blue. It just took all these great films like The Crazies and Nightmare on Elm Street, and it made it more blue. Not only were they remade, but they were remade to all look like the same crappy Hollywood schlock. Anyway, am I being sensitive? Am I being a crybaby? I think remakes could be done great. I think that there could be a need for some remakes, but they're so often done horribly. But, I don't know, what do you think? I'm going to eat my breakfast and do all that YouTube stuff that I like. That omelet looks a little more brown. It looks kind of like a pancake, but I use a lot of eggs. Do all that YouTube stuff, you know, like subscribe it. And hey! I'll see you next time!
I'm eating breakfast. A lot of people say breakfast is the most important meal of the day.